The dollar collapse plan. How China is weaponizing gold. Sounds dramatic, but after you watch this video until the end, you decide. For years, China's been quietly building something that could reshape global money. Maybe the most important financial shift of the decade or even the century. I stumbled across it by researching macroeconomics, and it completely changed how I view gold, currencies, and the future of the dollar. People call this, economists call it, the debasement trade. But what's really happening goes far beyond that. China's taking steps to reconnect its currency, the yuan, to physical gold. That's exactly the opposite of what the US did when it disconnected the dollar from gold on August 15th, 1971, during the Nixon shock. That's what it's called. Let me explain. China's gold accumulation, China's central bank has become the world's largest buyer of gold while reducing its US Treasury holdings. It's a message that they're preparing for a world where the dollar is not the default currency. And to support this strategy, China built the Shanghai Gold Exchange, which is the largest physical gold marketplace, added major vaults in Hong Kong, and is building something called the Gold Corridor, a network of secure vaults all across the BRIC nations. And any country holding yuan can eventually swap it for physical gold stored in this network. And gold has something that fiat currencies don't have. It can't be frozen, it can't be printed, it doesn't default, and in today's world, those qualities matter more than ever. Why trust is breaking down? For decades, central banks held reserves in US dollars because treasuries were seen as the world's safest asset. At one point, 70% of global reserves were in dollar-based items. But that changed after 2022 when the US froze $300 billion of Russia's foreign reserves. Forget about politics. The message to the world was simple. If your reserves are in dollars, they can be taken and switched off. This triggered a global shift. Countries began reducing dollar exposure and buying more gold, slowly at first, but then much quicker. Basel III, gold's upgrade, Basel III rules. Gold was reclassified as a Tier 1 asset, meaning banks can count it at full value, similar to cash or treasuries. There's only one high-tier, high-quality liquid asset used in global lending and the repo markets today. That's the US Treasury. However, if gold gets upgraded to this status, it would shift it from a passive store of value to an active global asset, allowing countries to finance trade and infrastructure without touching dollars. China's gold corridor is the basis. To build trust, China doesn't require countries to store gold inside China. Instead, Gold Corridor distributes all across the BRIC nations, all logged into the Shanghai Gold Exchange. Serial numbers, purity, ownership, you name it, everything. It's exactly a transparent physical ledger. China wants to stabilize gold as collateral. Instead of having daily moving prices, they might make a 200-day moving average, making gold predictable, enough to use in lending, financing the developing world. Here's where things get serious for the US. Many developing countries have natural resources, including gold, but lack infrastructure. Under China's model, a country deposits gold into this gold corridor, China or the BRICS bank, and it lends yuan against the gold. This builds ports, railway lines, power stations, grids, you name it, all outside the IMF, all outside the dollar, all backed by gold. So gold becomes the de facto HQLA. So, like it or not, the US might lose the world status of the world's strongest currency. And if gold is about to regain its global importance, the US wants its gold at home. US is repatriating gold. The US holds 8,000 tons of it, and they're bringing it back to the US. Most banks or lendings, they keep 20% of the reserves in gold or similar assets. Some banks are now even pushing for 30%. That 10% difference is $2 trillion in new demand. Gold can't be printed. So probably a repricing is absolutely possible. Then there's Bitcoin. Bitcoin, how does this come into the picture? China builds a world backed by physical gold. The US counters that with a digital, transparent, and programmable Bitcoin idea. Trust through math. For the first time, we see two competing monetary systems, gold-backed BRICS and a US-led digital asset system. You know what? Both can exist. But what's going to happen is We're entering a new phase where countries are redefining what money should be. China is betting on hard assets. The US might be betting on digital assets. Both gold and Bitcoin will probably see dramatic shifts as a result. I'm not making any predictions. Please drop your comments, your thoughts, hit like, hit subscribe, and let's see you in the next video. I want to hear your thoughts on this video.